Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Kim Gray, and I am so excited to be with you today. We have another brave soul from our group, Olive Oliver, and she shouts to us from the UK. So, Oliver, thank you for stepping out, another brave soul, and being with us today.
It's okay. I've been looking forward to it.
So, you come from across the pond, and most of our other folks are here in the United States. Yep, and I think you're the only one that's come from across the pond, and you're in the UK. So it's like evening there.
Yes, it's about 5:30 in the afternoon here, and it's this time of year. It's getting dark.
Yeah, oh, okay, I got you. Now, one of the things that I found really um, interesting when I was researching your profile, that you have this website called smarterlocally.co.uk. And so I sent you a message and I was like, is this your website? And you were like, yes, it is. I'm like, it doesn't look like it's your website. But once I delved into it, I was like, this is amazing. And you have this like, it feels like a collaborative of other marketing professionals, and you have this podcast thing going on.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about it? Because I haven't really seen this in the United States.
Yes, it was about 2.5 years ago. I came across a chap in Canada who came up with the idea and brought us all together. There's about 5 or 6 of us, most of them in the States and in Canada. I'm the only one in the UK. And sort of said, local businesses, small businesses have the same problems. Maybe we could collaborate with sharing resources, sharing problems, etc. So on the podcast, we took it in turns to do various sessions. I did a couple of sessions, other people did. And the whole idea is to show local businesses that all around the world, it's similar problems, which is lack of customers or not understanding marketing, whatever. And it was great having people from, when you're going through building something, having people you could relate to who are going through the same issues you are. But the only problem for me was our meetings were on a Tuesday. And because I'm in the UK, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning for me.
That's dedication. Wow.
Well, yes, the time zone things. And of course, the chat was in Canada. And when they changed their clock, summertime or whatever, I mean, I missed a session because I was an hour late.
Oh my
dear.
gosh. So you have a background in IT.
Yes, I do.
So you have the techie background. What did you find to be the biggest challenge when you stepped into your own business?
For me personally, it was in a strange way. I've been on and off over the years, having running my own business and then in corporate and back again and whatever. But what I found this time was the working on your own, the sense of not having a routine or a structure. I mean, it was so bad, I even missed our monthly boring meetings because at least I knew they were happening at certain times. So for me, it was that, and I had to be a lot more organised myself and a plan. So I now try to work to a 90-day year type plan to do things in 90-day chunks. But I go to a lot of networking meetings and things like that to get away with the isolation. But on my own time, because being an introvert, I don't want too many people around all the time.
Yes, because I was going to say, now I know that you are proud to be introvert.
Oh, yes.
And you talk about networking. I'm like, really? You was looking forward to that?
Well, put it this way. I mean, over the years, I've done about 3 or 4 Myers-Briggs assessment. And, there's a score for thinking introverts. I'm in the high 70s on both of those, and that has not moved. And I'm very proud to be an introvert. But I realized in my late teens that to get on in the world and go up the ladder, you have to sometimes behave as an extrovert. So I will go to networking meetings and stuff, but then I have to have a few hours actually alone without any human interaction.
I do the same thing. My husband's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in my introvert zone. Leave me alone.
Exactly. And so long as people understand that. Now, I also must say as well, I grew up in a family of extroverts.
Oh.
So it's, you learn coping mechanisms. You learn
yes,
coping
we
mechanisms.
do. We do.
I love my family dearly, but the noise when we all get together. It's just, yeah, yeah. But
I think we all have the extroverts in the family, and
yes,
I know it's like until you realize that you're different from everyone else,
yes.
until you realize what it is, you've known all along that you're different than everybody else. You just couldn't put your finger on it, and then one day you go, "That's it. I'm an
I mean,
introvert, and I'm okay with that."
yeah, I mean, I used to go every Saturday. You could find me in the library, hiding among the books, reading just to get some peace and quiet.
Oh my
But
gosh, yes.
and it's interesting. But yeah, the networking thing. Although I'm an introvert, I do actually like people, but in small doses. Don't get me wrong, going to a networking meeting is very nerve-wracking because you don't want to talk about, there's lots of people there talking about nonsense and you just want to get to the point, and all of that. But it's just, I have developed the sort of tactic of moving along to the next person. I introduce myself to the next person. And you just have to, I mean, the other thing to say is when I was in a corporate world, it was small, medium-sized businesses, and I would be in IT, I would be in charge of, several £1 million worth of budget, teams of 15, 20 people, and you'd have to do talks in front of them. So in a way, I put myself in a position that I had to be extroverted in a work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And although, don't get me wrong, I am not the world's best speaker by any means of imagination, but you learn ways of dealing with that. And because we live in societies which value, in inverted commas, or people who appear to be extroverts,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to at least appear that some of the time. However, I'm convinced it's us introverts that make the world go round, because we stop and think and not just talk.
I know, but the extroverts get all the credit.
Well, in a way, they can have the limelight. I'm happy to be behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, they come and go. We're still there.
And this is true. This is true. Now, when we were getting to know each other, you said to me that introverts tend to become self-employed because they're really
Yes.
good at what they do. But then you said there was something missing.
Yes, I mean, meeting lots of local businesses, whether they're car mechanics or accountants or even coaches or health and wellness people. They're very good technically, so therefore they think, right, okay, I love doing whatever it is. I'm going to start my own business, but what they're not good at is sales. So somebody comes along and says, like, take the IT world, which I know a lot of. Someone comes along, got a brilliant programmer or whatever. The end user, they can't understand. The end user is not interested in the intricate details of how it's designed, or as I used to say to my IT technicians, we'd get a nice fast servers in and they say, oh, it goes 1 nanosecond faster. I says, people don't care about go faster stripes. It's like, they were very offended, but the end user, you have to sell them the benefits the way that they understand. A lot of local businesses, small businesses, they're very good technically, but they can't sell. So then they have a problem with selling, explaining to their end customers. And people, I mean, you might get someone, a graphic designer, who's done a beautiful design, put a lot of hours of work into it. It's the latest, it is wonderful. Then somebody sees it and doesn't appreciate it, because what they want to know is, how is that design going to help their business do what it needs to do?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that thing. So I often have to explain to people that the end, you have to almost like re-educate them how to explain it to their ultimate customer. And the fact that their customer should know, or the fact that their customer is next, it doesn't matter. The customer's got the money.
That's true. I was reading this book by Pinsky, 101 Ways to Promote Yourself.
Yeah.
And he talked about how someone says, so what do you do? And you work at a shoe store. He said, but the better way to say it is, I help people get their feet going in the right direction. He just gave all of these fun examples of how you can, if this is what you do, this is how you could say it. So that it really was customer focused around the benefit to the client. And you're right. I don't know why we struggle with finding that part
Oh,
Um,
it's because we think so much about what we do. We put our heart and soul into it that we want the person at the end to appreciate what we've done. But realistically, their appreciation is shown in different ways, and we just can't find the words to communicate that.
yes,
You see what I mean?
yes,
And yeah, I mean, for example, I might spend hours looking up for, say, a business, researching what's the best way for them to sell their product, and market themselves and whatever. But what I have to then do is put it into to explain to someone what the benefit for them will be, and the fact that I might spend hours or be excited about it is neither here nor there. You know, it is what it is. But I think it's, and having done it myself on the IT side for years, when I had a boss who didn't understand the wonderful, complicated report that I had written in Oracle as it was at the time, and how groundbreaking it was what I had done. He just wanted to know, well, does the figures add up? Which is just like, well, but, yeah, you
he's like,
know,
bottom line, give me the bottom line.
yeah, but it's the, and because we get our joy from the inside things and making things happen. Other people, so you know, someone might get you know, for example, your example about a shoe shop. When I go to buy shoes, I want them to be comfortable. I don't want the latest fashion stuff. So there's no point someone saying to me, this shoes cost £3,000, designed by somebody I've never heard of, and all I want to know is it comfortable? Can I, you know, that's the thing. So yeah.
And so, who's your target market?
My target market is turned out to be mostly females, say mid-40s upwards, who are very good at what they do, but they appear to lack self-confidence in expressing themselves. But I think it's that they don't actually appreciate the talent they have, and how just accept. And what I would say to any female, maybe females are more naturally introverted than men, I don't know, is just accept that you are brilliant and just move on. Because don't sit there and think, oh, you must have got it wrong, they're looking at somebody else, or they're going to find me out, whatever. I find that most people, if you say something long enough and you believe it, most people just go with the flow. So, yeah.
Yes.
So
And I think as women, we tend to want to please everyone.
yes.
And we can become our own worst enemy, or even our own worst boss, because we don't give ourselves a break. We don't give ourselves any recognition, validation for the clients we have, or the click that we got through our advertising. Just the fact that somebody was willing to click, log in, opt in, you know, schedule a session, that should
Yeah.
be enough, because we can't work with everybody.
Oh yes, and you're right. I find that we women, more so than men, but women tend to undervalue what we do, and we think it's obvious. Doesn't everybody do that? And the answer is no to that. Not everybody does. And I mean, funny enough, did an exercise last year when somebody said to me two things. One, every day compliment somebody, and two, every day accept a compliment. And the hardest thing was to accept the compliment.
Definitely. Now, the last thing I want to talk with you about is when I said to you, if you wring your hands and you go, oh, they would just get this one thing. You gave me a two-sided answer, and I loved it. What
Yes,
was that?
it was. If businesses would understand two things: one, the lifetime customer value, i.e., you get somebody in, and how often do they stay? How long do they stay with you, and how much money they spend over time? Typical example, easiest example I can give is a membership in some form. Do they stay for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months to a year, whatever? That's the average lifetime value. And so if that works out at $500, then you can afford to spend $50 to acquire them, because you then benefit from $450. Not just think of, well, the first monthly payment is $50. It costs $50 to get in, because it doesn't work that way. The other side of the coin is the value ladder. And if anyone knows Russell Brunson, he sort of thing, but
Yes.
also McDonald's. But it's not just an upsell. It's like having different services that if a customer has a wonderful experience with your $10 product, they may, 10%, 15, 20% of them might want to come back and buy something else from you. I know myself, I've had good experiences and I've gone to people and says, right, what else can I buy from you? Because I want to show you my appreciation by parting with money. Because it is, and I remember saying to someone, in fact, it sort of slight an aside, it was my aunt's 70th birthday last year. And I said, you must have a party. And she says, oh, we're not having a party. I says, the party isn't for you. It's for the rest of us to show our appreciation.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the same thing with business, because there are people who you have profound impact on, whether it's you've written a $10 book, and that at that point of time for that person, it hits a chord and they're thinking, right, I want to work with this person. I want to do a coaching course. I want to do a one-day course with them, etc., etc. It won't be everyone, but it will be somebody, and it's to provide that for them. So, the value ladder is important, and the two together with a lifetime value. And then if you know those two things, you can then plan for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, what your income will be, what you can do, and it works out a lot easier.
I love that, because for introverts, we really value the relationships we develop. Yes. And I find a lot of entrepreneurs don't think about the relationship in a long-term way of thinking. But if you are thinking about the cost of that acquisition and the value of that customer over time, and if you want them to hang around, then you need to, what is that number? And you're absolutely right. If you got to spend $300 or $400 to learn a skill, to get a system that will help you manage the client base you need, those clients are going to more than pay for that investment over time.
Yeah.
And as long as you have products or
exactly.
other opportunities for them to engage with you and grow into that relationship with you. So you have to really think that your business is about relationship building.
You're dead right there.
Yeah.
And the other thing that might be useful for introverts to think about in terms of building relationship is the new, fairly new Facebook Messenger marketing, where I know that chatbots and things, it's not automating everything, but it actually is a way for us introverts to have almost one-to-one conversations sometimes with our valued customers and keep that relationship going. But in a way that you don't have to be in front of them, so you're not, terrible worried about that. But anyway, so it's well,
we're gonna have to get you to talk more about that. Maybe you'll do a training session or something with me.
Oh, I'm more than happy to help, because I like helping people.
I know. That's just how we are.
Yes, we are.
So, Olive, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to put this down in the window below when this comes out on the recording, it'll be smarterlocally.co.uk.
Yes.
And that's where they can find out more about you, listen to your marketing podcast. And do you also have a Facebook page, right?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page of the same name.
Okay.
Or anyone in the group can just message me.
Okay.
Just message me. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone about their marketing plan or anything that we discussed today.
Great. Well,
and I'm happy to do another training session with you about the lifetime customer value and the value.
Yes, we definitely have to get together and put something together to do that. So if you're up for it, we'll
definitely.
And make sure that you post your podcast episodes in the group, because it's valuable. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I will do that. Yes.
All right. Yes. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I got a lot out of it, and I'm sure our group will too.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me. It's been brilliant.